Well, hello and welcome to the latest Epic Universe construction update. Now, we just did a construction update last week, but as I was finishing up that video, I saw BioReconstruct over on Twitter, or whatever you call it these days.
I'm dug in, and I'll never change.
Was posting a new batch of photos, so I figured go ahead and get that video out and then look through those and see if there's anything new to update. And there are some things here to update, so I figured let's just make a separate video and go over the updates in this one. So that's what we're gonna do. Now, before we jump into the update, for those that perhaps are unaware, Epic Universe is a brand new theme park coming to Universal Studios Florida, and it's currently set to open in 2025. Epic Universe is located just 2 miles south of Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure in Orlando, Florida. And this new park will include brand new lands themed to How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, Universal Monsters, and my personal favorite, Super Nintendo World. And as usual, let's start off our construction update by heading over into the Dark Universe to see some updates over here. Here at the entrance portal to the Dark Universe, we can see the colorful walkway that will be in front of this entrance portal, and all the other ones in the park has started popping up here. We can also see that there are a lot more trees in this area, which is something that you will notice all throughout this video, as Epic Universe is going to have lots of trees. And as we get closer to park opening, we will see even more trees. And the biggest progress to check out in the Dark Universe is the village, where the buildings in here look all but done and walkway concrete pours are prepped and about to begin. I think the buildings in here look great and very much like 18th century buildings should. And here's a great look where we can see the broken wall entrance pathway into the village and the entrance portal behind it. We can also see at the portal those gravestones, which we've noticed before, and I'm starting to wonder if perhaps at the entrance portal to this land is us coming through a cemetery perhaps. Here is another look at those gravestones that line the pathway between the entrance portal and the broken wall entrance just outside the village. And further in the village, we can see concrete forms on the right side of this photo that look to form a fountain. And here we can see more concrete pours for walkways are in progress, and workers are etching it to look like pavement stone, so the whole area will likely have imitation cobblestone-like walkways. And over at the Dark Manor, there isn't really much to check out since our last update, but we can get a look at what the walkways in Dark Universe could possibly look like, as these were some of the first to be laid and have the etched stone look put in them. And over at the extended queue of the Dark Manor, it seems as if the pavement work here is all but complete, and we can see again just how many trees are now in this area. And really the amount of trees that are going to be in Epic Universe, I think is going to be something that people may not be thinking about right now, will be a giant perk. Because if you've ever been to theme parks, especially in Orlando in the summer, hot. And most theme parks, Universal and Disney included right now, are concrete jungles. So I think having a theme park where there's lots of shade just in walkways and in queue areas is going to be something that is a giant perk for this park. We will also find a lot more trees over here at the Burning Blade Tavern as we see the progress here. And over in the queue of the Curse of the Werewolf roller coaster, here's a better look at a wagon that we noticed that was in here last time, and also that was in the staging area a few months back, and a building that has been recently placed here. Now the building looks to be some sort of kiosk, potentially for merchandise and or drinks perhaps. And here is a closer look at that small wagon that is in the queue, and we can also see the same subflooring here as in the other parks of Dark Universe, so this area is likely to get that etched concrete to look like stone pavement. And here in this view, we can catch a glimpse of the Curse of the Werewolf roller coaster ride train with test dummies in them during some ride testing. Alright, that's all really here to check out in the Dark Universe, but let's head over into the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, to see some progress over here. At the entrance of the land, we can see the entrance portal beacon in front, but we can also see the same protective cover is on the colorful walkway here, like we've seen over in Starfall Racers, to protect it from construction in the area. Plus, on the left, we can see how these gazebos, which we've seen the progress of as months have gone on, how those are coming along and will look. And as I said before, one of the themes here will be trees, and here we can see a lot more trees near the entrance have popped up. And here we can see sidewalks that are being constructed on the streets here in the land. And at the entrance of the theater attraction in the land, we can see where tent poles are being placed. And backing out a little bit on the theater building in the land here, we can see this shot At 1 is the theater entrance that will be through a themed tent, which is what those posts are for. At 2 is the theater stage, and at 3 is the exit to the theater. And in this area of the land, we can see some scaffolding has come down, and on the building here, it says Hotel 1879 painted on the side. And in another area where more scaffolding has come down, we can see these slogans have been painted on some windows here. And this is a good look at 2 of what will be 3 alleyways into an inner courtyard where there will be a featured restaurant. And zoomed out a bit in this area, we can see at the arrow that is the roof of the featured restaurant that will be in that small courtyard area. And here's the progress of the extended queue area of the unnamed and unknown Ministry of Magic attraction in the land. And that's the latest here in the Wizarding World Ministry of Magic. Let's head over into Super Nintendo World to see some progress over here, most of it being in Donkey Kong Country. Now we usually start off our tour here in the Super Nintendo World by going into the Mushroom Kingdom, but again, the biggest progress here in Super Nintendo World is over in the Donkey Kong Country section, as we can now see the barrel that is part of Minecart Madness that will launch riders through it has now been installed. And over at the part of Minecart Madness where riders will skim over the water, we can see at 1, crates and a painted wooden wall at some rocks. At 2 is a trestle with some theming on it. 3 are the screaming pillars that we noticed last time, and at 4 is theming starting on a kiosk. And here's a closer look at that rock work in the area here to see the progress going on there. In this shot, we can see the overall progress on Minecart Madness and Donkey Kong Country section as a whole. Lots of progress happening here all over the place, and really excited to see how this is starting to shape up. Now over in the Mushroom Kingdom, there isn't much to report on progress-wise since our last video, but here we can see some views of the current progress over on Mount Beanpole, Bowser's Fortress, which is the Mario Kart attraction entrance, Yoshi's Adventure, and Peach's Castle. And that's it here on the updates in Super Nintendo World. But let's head over into the How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk to see some cool progress over here. Now over at the grandstands for the Dragon Racers Rally and where Hiccup's wing gliders will fly through, we can now see some of the dragon houses have been installed. We can see the boom lifts are adding more of these houses, so we'll have to wait and see how many houses are eventually added here, but it looks to be over 14 houses currently installed or being installed when we look at the front and back of the grandstands as of now. And it looks to be many more to come probably. And here's the current status of the Viking training camp. Now there isn't much progress since our last visit as rock work here continues, and many of the playground equipment elements may be in the beginning phases of being installed. And over at the main station of Hiccup's winged gliders, we can see more trees have been installed, and at the arrow is a new themed wall. And in the bay where Hiccup's winged glider skims over the water, we can see temporary fencing has been recently added, which indicates frequent ride testing is happening. And we do know there is ride testing going on, especially during the day, because a lot of people have caught footage of this.
Very excited.
Here we can get a look at some of the log and wood beam structures for some shops near the bay being built, which does look just like the type of buildings that we have seen in the concept art that Universal has released about the How to Train Your Dragon land. And on top of Spitfire Grill, we have some color popping through and some wood planks that have been recently added, along with more exterior theming elements like artificial trees and the berm on the roof. And over at Mead Hall, we can see a Viking helmet peeking through the scaffolding on a pair of the Viking statues that will be just outside of the entrance to Mead Hall. And on the backside of Mead Hall, we can see some completed rock work and what other parts of the land will likely look like once its rock work is also completed. Like a lot of places in this construction update, it's quality over quantity, so that's really all there is to check out here in the Isle of Berk. Let's head over into Celestial Park to check out the progress here in the central area of Epic Universe. Now we know from Universal that Celestial Park is going to be like a traditional park in many ways, with lots of trees and water features. Well, here we can see some bridge frames have been added where guests can walk over the water features like you might find in some local parks where you're from. Now over in the entrance area of Epic Universe, there isn't a lot to note on, especially on the entrance portal or the plaza itself, but inside the plaza, there are some circular structures that are being constructed here. And if we look at the concept art, we can see that this is going to be one of those colorful circular walkways, and the little circles around it are going to be for trees. Now, if you're unaware of what the entrance plaza entails here, this is where guests will go through security, can purchase tickets, talk to guest relations, etc. And we saw in the last update that the Atlantic restaurant had some of the windows showing, and here we can get a really good look at those windows. Now, it does look like there is some blue tint on those windows, which will help guests inside probably not be baked by the sun when sitting during the day, and probably also reduces the potential glare of the sun off the windows for guests in the park. Also, we can see the workers give the water feature some scale, as the whole area here is huge. And over at Celestial Carousel, there has been some decent progress here since our last video. We can see that the legs have mostly been painted gold here, and at 1 is recently added rockwork, at 3 are electrical conduits to the top of the dome, and at 4 is a decorative disc in the ceiling of the dome. And here's a better look at that decorative disc that will be on top of the ceiling of Celestial Carousel. Now, it's been a while since we've checked out what is likely going to be a barbecue restaurant in Celestial Park, but we can see the building here is nearing completion as some brick exteriors have recently been added. And we noted in a past video that work had started on a new area in Celestial Park near the entrance to the How to Train Your Dragon Land. Well, this is the progress on that area, and we can see the foundations of whatever is going to be constructed here have started. And over at the Helios Grand Hotel, we can see more progress on the steel sheets that are being added as a base layer on the dome have made some progress. And we can also see on the hotel itself that exterior painting has made a lot of progress and is still currently being painted by workers. And on the other side of Helios, where guests will drive up to the hotel, we can see there is less exterior paint in progress in this area, but the windows here look amazing. Now, whether or not I will be able to stay in this hotel, time will tell, but either way, I am really excited about what this hotel will look like inside and out. We can also see over at the Helios pool area where the concrete for the pool floor has recently been poured. And heading over to the other side of Celestial Park, we'll check out Starfall Racers real quick, and here's the progress of the queue area of that ride. And overall, Starfall Racers, there isn't much really to update, as there isn't a lot of progress since our last video, but here are some shots of the current progress on what is easily the most thrilling ride that will be in Epic Universe. And to finish up our tour here, let's check out the 2 hotels that will sit just outside of Epic Universe, the Stella Nova and Terra Luna resorts. Now, there really isn't much else to check out here, as not a lot of progress has been made, it seems, in the past few videos, but here are some pictures and some progress updates on those. Well, that's going to do it for this short Epic Universe construction update. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel before you go. As always, we will be doing more Epic Universe news updates, land previews, and construction updates as work on this new park continues. Also, here at Capture the Magic, we have information of videos to help you have the best time in heading to Universal Studios and or Disney World, and help you keep up with all of the latest theme park news. And if you want even more Universal Studios and Disney World information, you can check out the Capture the Magic podcast, where we share tips, reviews, money-saving strategies, and more. You can find the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and also here on YouTube over at CTM Podcast. Now, given we don't have any details about the Ministry of Magic ride that is going to be in the Wizarding World, I'm curious, when do you think Universal is going to release more details about the land and that ride in particular? Personally, I kind of think this is going to be more toward the end of the year, because I think Universal is going to stay rather tight-lipped on this as long as they can. But let us know in the comments when you think we might hear more. And until next time, we will see you in the parks.